So with Power Rangers Prime, the new series they're doing,
Uh-huh.
they brought back the VR Troopers.
The
You don't know what VR Troopers are, do you?
Ranger Prime is the new thing that's out right now?
Yeah, that's what took over as the ongoing series.
Okay. Yeah, I was just at ABC like not too long ago.
Oh yeah, what happened to your other comic shop? The one about the Hops and Heroes or whatever?
Oh, a hair like that one like just combusted. I don't know.
Collapsed in on itself.
Yeah, collapsing on itself.
So VR Troopers was another one of the shows that Saban did back in the day.
Okay.
It was based off of like 3 or 4 different shows that they kind of just took the suits from.
Okay. Ooh, these are cool.
Yeah, but so they brought them back for the comics.
Oh, that's cool. What are they on?
Speed.
Damn, they like really accent the Oh, dude, that is a sick ass fucking cover.
That's the VR Troopers. That's what they designed them to look like in this one.
Oh my god, they really accented the dinosaur on the Red Ranger.
Oh, they did it with all of them.
Did they really?
Hold up, let me see. So these are the Prime Rangers.
Well, so what makes them like Prime? Is it?
It's different. We're in a different universe.
Oh, okay. So this isn't like our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
No, this is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is over.
Oh, that's right.
They're moving on. So Power Rangers Prime is like it's kind of like the Return. You remember the Return, where it's like an alternate reality version of Mighty Morphin?
I don't even think I saw that one as well. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's one of the ones we'll be getting to eventually.
Okay.
So yeah, it's an alternate reality imagining of it. So completely different group of heroes. Pretty cool.
Oh shit. Well, I wish I would have known that. I would have gone and picked up the first issue.
Well, don't worry. We're gonna cover all of them, man.
Yeah. Anyways, I need to get
Eventually.
only trades.
Well, we can't, and we're not even gonna cover that. Those series for like a while. We got a long way to go.
Oh no, well, I also meant just like collection wise. Just
Yeah,
reading.
no, I know.
Yeah, they're easier to read.
You know which one I'm not looking forward to reading and talking about?
Which ones?
Ranger Academy.
Why?
Oh, it's so dumb, man.
Is it just like? Is it more centered around like their high school?
No, it's an academy to make new teams of Rangers, which is a cool idea. I think it's long overdue, but like they made it lame, and it's not even like it'd be cool if it was like a story of like a bunch of kids like having to be Rangers way earlier than they're meant to be Rangers, and like fight lords, basically, what the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers went through. But no, it's all about like, oh, I need to push through my emotional trauma from my parents, and I'm like, God, shut up.
Higgins, that name looks familiar. I guess only
Kyle
because
Higgins.
we've been reading. Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of the main
Power
writers.
Yeah,
All right, should we get into it?
let's do it.
So tonight we're going to be covering what's called the Lost. Well, it's not called. I'm calling it. It's the Lost Chronicles. Basically, it's all of the side stories that don't fit into the timeline proper anywhere. So it's kind of a butchered anthology of the annuals and then anniversary specials.
Okay, that made a lot more sense now.
Yeah, the only reason I'm choosing to do this all together is there are a lot of stories from the 2016 and 2017, actually all of the annuals and anniversary specials that actually fit pretty well in the timeline of the series. So I'd like to talk about those where they belong. So this is just kind of like what's left over.
Okay.
I'm starting us off with a story that I made the mistake of not including in our review of Shattered Grid because I forgot about it. So the story Search Party was written by Kyle Higgins, and this tells the story of Tommy right after he breaks free of the of Rita's control during the beginning of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. What? Yeah.
Okay. I'm good to go.
Just a sec.
Okay.
You sent me something. Okay. Hold on.
Never mind.
I will look at it. I will look at it later then. Okay. Yada yada yada. Picked up with Rita. So one of the things that I personally asked while reading through Shattered Grid again is like, what gets Tommy to this point, right?
Okay.
Like how we've seen Tommy, the one that we know from both the comics and the TV show, and then we have Lord Draken, who's this evil bastardized version of Tommy. And this story kind of explains what happened. So when Tommy breaks free of Rita's spell, as one can imagine, there's a lot of confusion. Like, first of all, you're breaking free from somebody controlling your mind, but you're still kind of there for what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Tommy's wrestling with the fact, like, not only A, is he a Power Ranger, but B, he just spent, like a week doing really evil things and trying to kill people. So he's just trying to take some time to collect himself, while the rest of the Rangers are actively trying to, like, help him. But he's not willing to let them help yet. And while he's being mugged in, I believe it's supposed to be like Japan, but I don't, just based on the facial designs, he's having a pretty rough day, getting mugged, and so he morphs and whoops some ass. And as he's walking away with what little he has left, Jason and Zach try to stop him, but once again, he's not ready for help. He wants to try and figure this out on his own. And while he's pondering his life decisions that got him to this point, Rita shows up and kind of gives him the choice this time. Rather than forcing him to be her slave, she is asking him, "Do you want me to help you? I can do that." But it ends with Tommy taking Rita's offer and joining her again. So we get this certainty as to how Lord Draken became Lord Draken. Rita realizing, like, hey, I made a mistake here when I took away his free will. This time, I'm going to offer him free will and work with him, not have him work for me. And unfortunately, Jason and Zach show up just a little bit late and miss him because he's no longer on Earth. He's back with Rita. And that all leads into, of course, the events that happened in Shattered Grid.
Okay.
Another story that, again, I should have put in the Shattered Grid story is From Here to Despair. Now, this one, I believe, was in one of the hardcovers. Actually, did I talk about this one already in that one?
I think you might have mentioned it, but side note, this one was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing.
So I do apologize if this is one that I did already cover, but we're going to cover it again. From Here to Despair is a follow-up to Draken kind of working into like a position of power on the world of the Coinless. It's Jason stumbling through the desert of despair, seeking out Ninjor. Ninjor, as we know, is the creator of the power coins.
Right.
And Ninjor is very much pushing against him. He's like, look, I'm not here to help you. And I don't care if Zordon is the one that sent you. And he's constantly throwing Jason from his castle that he's hiding out in, and then moving the castle. And the reason Jason is doing this is Zordon and Alpha sent him to find a power source strong enough to stop Lord Draken. So this isn't just a little side quest he's doing for the sake of it. He is literally trying to save his world from destruction again. Well, not again, for the first time. But once again, Ninjor throws him out, and it's a game of cat and mouse for a while. And Ninjor's finally like, okay, you know what? If you think you're worthy to have this great power that you're looking for, go ahead. And he puts him into a little, he puts him into a trial room, basically, where the White Ranger's power coin is floating in a beam of light, and it's being protected by a tiger and a falcon. The reason that's a big deal is because those are the White Ranger's Zords, the White Tiger and the Falcon Zord.
Right.
And Jason then fights against these two giant spiritual creatures until he is able to get to the center of the room and claim the power coin. Now, as soon as he tries morphing with the coin, it crumbles. At which point Ninjor apologizes and explains that there is not currently a white light, but that doesn't mean that it can't exist. And that's in the TV show. The white light, the white ranger power was actually created by Zordon and Alpha, so he's not wrong. Ninjor never had the power.
Okay.
So those two stories led directly into Shattered Grid. And again, I apologize if I did cover one of them already and that I didn't cover the other one, but we've covered them now.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I don't remember. All right, so the very first little side story we got from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics was in fact from the Zero issue. So the Zero issue kind of laid the groundwork for the series, and then had this little number slipped in at the end called "What Time Is It?" This one, from what I'm able to piece together, is supposed to be the moment that Tommy broke free. So
okay.
It opens up with Goldar fighting against Tommy, with Rita watching from the sky as she is all evil and shit. And Jason jumps into the fight and helps to protect Tommy, while the rest of the team is fighting the putties. And while they're trying to figure out how to best help Jason and Tommy, Billy, being the nerd he is trying to estimate where they're at. And then Goldar ends up growing to enormous sizes, and Billy being like, "Yep, that's the spot. That's it right there." Trini, being the badass she is, charges into battle with her saber-toothed tiger Zord and protects Tommy and Jason from getting crushed. And at this point, I know I mentioned it when we talked about Power Rangers and the Justice League, about like the scaling of the Zords compared to other things.
Yeah.
We now get to see kind of how big the Tiger Zord is compared to Tommy and Jason, and I feel like the scale's a little bit off.
It looks like it is.
Because that as it is about the size of an 18-wheeler, I would say. But the Pterodactyl Zord was more like the size of a not quite a jumbo jet, but a pretty good sized plane. So I feel like the scale in this particular short story is a little off. And then, the other Rangers show up in their Zords and start blasting away at Goldar and chaining him up and freezing him and shit. And Goldar's just like, "All right, let's fight this." And so they Megazord, and then the Dragon Zord shows up, and Goldar's like, "You know what? I might step out on this one." And I think again, I'm not 100% certain this is where it's supposed to take place, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like right when Tommy frees himself. I haven't watched the Green with Evil story arc in a while, so I don't know for certain. But if this does end up being like a recreation of the first fight that all 6 Rangers had together. I think that it was a smart choice to choose that as a little snippet for the series.
Oh, okay.
Just because, like, good homage type thing. A Week in the Life comes from the 2016 annual. It was the first one in the issue, I believe. It shows Jason's life on a daily basis on what he goes through. Because as we remember, on top of being a Power Ranger, Jason and the others are all students. They all have lives outside of Power Rangering, and as much as I don't like the day-to-day mundane shit when it comes to the TV show, seeing it in comic book form, the way they chose to do it was pretty cool. We're not given the play-by-play on his life. We get snippets throughout the day. So Monday, wakes up at 5 o'clock doing homework while he's eating breakfast. 2:05 p.m. he's sitting in class still learning about all of the papers that he still has to get done from some hippie teacher. 4:45 he's fighting putties because that's what he do. And then at 6 o'clock he's got a class he has to teach. Busy fucking day. Tuesday he's up at 4:30 jogging with Zach because they hate themselves.
They want to be fit. Bunch of losers.
Fucking douchebags. 5 a.m. he's still working on homework. 12 p.m. he's running simulations within the pocket dimension with Billy and Trini. 4 p.m. he's fighting Goldar, and 7 p.m. he's performing katas for his sensei. 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, he's working on homework. 7:15, he's overslept for school. 8:01 a.m., he arrives at that hippie teacher's class with his paper finished. 2:04, he gets a call to go fight. And they fight. This is the Snizzard, I believe. One of Rita's snaky snake bitches.
Ooh.
And 5:14, they're still fighting the snaky bitch. 6:06, his students are starting to ask whether or not Jason's going to even fucking show up. Thursday into Friday at 11:22 p.m. Jason gets home from somewhere. We don't know. He works on homework until 3 o'clock in the morning. 4:30 in the morning, he's asking Zach to, go for a run, which is stupid. Yeah, basically, boys got a lot going on in his life.
Yeah, a lot.
And that's something that we kind of forget about because they're, cartoon characters, basically. And when we finally roll around to Saturday, he sleeps in until the next day. Sunday, he seriously sleeps for a whole day. And then Sunday, as the sun's rising, the Rangers are all gathered by some big-ass crater I assume they caused, having a little bitty picnic, which I think is very sweet because they all need a break. Also, this is the closest that any of the comics we will ever read have ever gotten to Austin St. James's actual face for Jason. All right. This one's probably one of my favorite stories that they've done. This is A Spot of Trouble. And the artwork is done by Huang Danlin, which I'm not gonna guess on this one. I'm gonna look this one up. She's Asian of some sort. My guess is Korean. If I had to guess based on the
art style.
Yeah. I'm just looking her up, trying to see who if I can get any information about her. She's known for Boom Studios comics. That's about it. Cool. This was a waste of time. The artwork is beautiful. If I had to guess, it looks more like manhwa than manga style,
What does manhwa mean?
Manhwa is, I believe, it's Korean comics.
Oh, okay.
It's a very different art style than what we usually get for Power Rangers, and I feel like they chose the softer art style because it's about Trini and Kimberly. It's the two girls on the team, so it feels more like cutesy, like Sailor Moon style.
Uh huh.
And they're hosting a charity ball for to help like the animals that have been displaced by like deforestation. Like they're dealing with real world issues, like as you do. And while they're running this little charity ball, all of the guests start turning into animals, and they look up, and it's a purple baddie in a with a tail.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, I'm turning all y'all bitches into animals."
Into MMOs.
Into animals.
Animals.
Because if you want to help the environment, the way to help the environment is to get rid of humans. And it's really weird because like they're doing like flips and shit trying to save this charity ball, and like saving cakes and shit. And they're not really fighting the villain. Her name's Vixenia, but they're not really fighting her at all. And by they're not, I mean Trini, because Kimberly also turned into a rabbit. Trini's fighting Vixenia, and not like fighting her necessarily, just not getting hit by, just not getting hit, right? Okay. And Vixenia gets her hands on one of Trini's power daggers and jumps up to stab her. And as God, this is so stupid. This is such a stupid ending. As she's about to stab Trini, Kimberly the rabbit jumps up in front of Vixenia, and Vixenia literally falls to the ground screaming no, because she almost hurt an animal.
Well, she doesn't want to hurt the animal.
But like, the animal is a human that she turned into an animal.
She fell the error of her ways.
I mean, that's basically what happened. She's like, oh my God, I was so wrong. And so they're like, hey, we'll help you, we're gonna help save the forest, right? And Rita's like, hey, bitch, you're supposed to be stabbing them Power Rangers. And she's like, no. And then Vixenia turns into a fox. I mean, a vixen is a female fox, I get that. But she turns into a fox, and all the humans turn back into humans, and that's it. There's no real fight. It's just, oh my God, I almost hurt a poor bunny. What an asshole I've been. And my God, I fully support that issue. I wish we had more of that. Okay. This next one, I want to preface by saying it is my least favorite of any media for Power Rangers that's come. It's called It's Putty Time.
I love the name.
So, it's...
This is so dorky.
The artwork, it was written and illustrated by James Kochakla. And like, he's known for a very distinct art style, right? This kind of childish, dorky art style. I get it. It's like Captain Underpants type style, right?
I was just gonna make that same and comparison.
It's Tommy and Kimberly beating the shit. Sorry, we'll censor this one since it looks like it's made for kids. Tommy and Kimberly are lovingly pushing about their putty friends.
We just go back. The first bubble is, man, I love busting putties.
I love busting putties. It's so freaking easy. It's like they're like just like living their best life, beating the hell out of putties. And Kimberly's like, sometimes I do feel bad about this. Like, what if they have feelings? And Tommy's like, that's fucking stupid. Are you dumb?
Are you dumb?
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Stupid?
Is you dumb or is you just stupid? And Kimberly's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. And Tommy's like, nah, girl. You a nice girl, and that's kind of cute.
Bitch,
don't
is you stupid or is you just a bitch?
Oh god. And the fucking I'm not kidding when there's a line in this comic that says you're too cute to derp in battle.
But you need those. We need those two on a shirt. Those I love busting putties and then that one.
I love busting all over putties. Oh god. And so one of the putties that just got its ass handed to him on a silver platter wakes up and is like, huh, I think I love that pink thing.
Putty love pink. Okay.
And then we get to see, okay, they look like they're 7-year-olds, and they're just like, hey, Kimberly, this new kid wants to come hang out with us. And it's literally just a putty in a wig.
In a wig, dude, that's hilarious.
And he's like, yeah, he's from out of town. He wants to fight. And Kimberly's like, okay. And then, like, Putty gets a little bit handsy, and Kimberly breaks his fucking spine. Oh, my God.
The Putty looks like if it was, like, two 6th graders. Like
wearing a trench coat?
Like, shoulders, yeah, wearing a trench coat. Trying to get into the theater.
And so she fucking cracks him in the jaw, and the wig pops off of the Putty, and it's a bird's nest. And Kimberly's like, you know what? I take back everything I said. I don't give a shit what happened, what these guys feel. And that's it. That's the end of the story. Talk about character growth.
Yeah, dude.
Oh God, that one's stupid, but God, I love it. So the next one, the final story from the 2016 annual is What Makes a Ranger. This art style is great, but at the same time terrible, because it's too bold. It's very bold, and all the characters are very bulky.
Yeah.
Like it feels very 90s Cable.
Yeah.
The Rangers are fighting the Commandant and his war golem, which is basically a giant Zord of himself. And while they're fighting, there's a lot of collateral damage, as there is. And as they're getting their butts whooped, as a little girl is watching, Zordon explains to Alpha why this group of 5 kids that he chose to be Power Rangers, or 6 kids. It's not because they're the strongest. It's not because they're the best fighters. It's because they get back up and keep fighting. Like it doesn't matter that the Megazord gets deactivated. It doesn't matter that, they lose their weapons. They'll still fight even though the odds are stacked against them. And they ultimately, their Megazord gets trashed. The Commandant's War Golem is beating the hell out of them. But they activate some of the special moves that the Zords can do and end up trashing the War Golem with just a power punch from the fist. And then they beat the shit out of the Commandant as the Rangers. And this is where I get the most jarring look at the Power Rangers I have ever seen. Because, their proportions are all over the fucking place.
Ooh.
Also, if you look at the gloves and boots, they don't fit correctly.
Yeah.
It looks like...
big for them.
Yeah, it looks like they're wearing suits that are 3 sizes too big for each of them. They trusted their suits to bulk for a day, and then he gave them back all stretched out and shit.
He wore all of them. He wore all 5.
Yeah. Well, and then it ends with, not only have the Rangers beaten the bad guy, but they take the time to help, mitigate damages and help find survivors in the collapsed buildings. And that's what separates them from, that's what makes them heroes. What makes them a Ranger is they're heroes when they're morphed, and they're heroes when they're not.
When they're not, yeah. Yeah, take that, Avengers.
Take that, Batman.
Take that, Batman.
Bruce. All right, so that's basically it for the 2016 issue annual, and honestly, most of the 2017 annual is going to be covered in other places, but there are two stories from the 2017 annual that don't really fit in anywhere, so we're just covering them tonight. The first one is Forever Mighty Morphin Black. This is so back in the day we had a special from I believe it was Wild Force called Forever Red. Forever Red was every Red Ranger in history that had appeared so far coming together to fight some big bads, right?
I think I remember that one.
So this is somewhat along the same vein as that. So we open up on the Black Ranger. Keep in mind, note here, if you look at this first panel, there's a big old like Zord that's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this Zord is from the 3rd season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is a Zord from the Ninja era, right?
Okay. So
the person controlling that Zord more than likely is not Zack. That's Adam's Zord from the series. So we have a Black Power Ranger inside of the command center. There's a huge crystal off in the distance, and even further you can kind of see Angel Grove, right? And as the Black Ranger approaches like the center of the command center, he's attacked by a giant crystalline monster.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? A biblical accurate angel?
No, it's made of crystals. Even grosser.
Even grosser.
And Adam manages to activate some kind of teleporter that opens up a wormhole with a bunch of black energy shooting out of it.
Okay.
But then we go back to the present day where we get to deal with Zack's emotional issues, because that's what we're here for. Zack is starting to realize, as much as anybody else is, that they are all running themselves completely weary. They are exhausted. They're running out of energy, right? And as he's opening up to Kimberly, he gets pulled in by a large black mass of energy. And as he's falling through this like wormhole, he sees other Black Rangers falling around him.
Oh.
And he hears a call for help from across time and space. And as he falls into the center of like where the cry of help came from, he's landing among a whole bunch of other Black Rangers. And in the middle of it is an elderly man asking if the crystal cryptid is still hungry. So the crystal cryptid's this vile bastard. So let's take a look around at some of the things we've seen. So there's up in the corner here, we've got a ninja, one of the ones from the movie, I guess.
I was gonna say, what about this guy on the right, the other ninja?
Yeah. So there's two ninjas. One is black, one is not black. So I'm guessing that this one's Adam, and this one up here is Zack, if there was an alternate reality with that. We have this one up here, which is, it looks like he's like static shock surfing on trash can.
Yeah. Who's that beefy one under him?
Looks like the Hulk, right.
Yeah.
We've got this, so this one with Adam with his like half morphed one. During Power Rangers in Space, Adam morphed with a damaged morpher, and this was the result.
Oh, wow, that's wicked.
There's this one wearing a big old scarf. Don't know what he's about. Maybe the wild.
What about that?
What?
Oh, it could be wild. What about the reverse?
So yeah, you got a reverse one. So it's black with white diamonds instead, or white with black diamonds instead. You have a knight. You have this one with the shield, was from Operation Overdrive. It was an upgrade for one of the specials they did.
Okay.
This is just a Black Ranger. This is just a Black Ranger. This is a Black Ranger with boobs.
Oh, there's a Black Ranger with the
dragon shield.
Oh, the dragon shield. Yeah.
There's a Black Ranger with a cape.
That's fine, Superman.
Yeah, this one with like the pink trim on it is Zach from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink.
Is that Gwen Black Ranger?
Yeah, the Gwen Stacy Black Ranger. All right, so they all show up and just fucking wail on the Crystal Cryptid dude, right? And
that's sick.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick shot. And then, they end up defeating it, no problem. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah. And so now they're all kind of like just hanging out, chit-chatting. And Zach, so we got a bunch of different versions of Zach, right? My favorite is they've got flat top Zach from season 1 of Power Rangers meeting the modern iteration. And also pointing out, like, there are a lot of dudes here that aren't Zach. What's going on with that? And the old dude that called them all there, that's Adam, right? That's old Adam. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really allowed to talk about that.
Oh, okay. They very subtle. I like that.
Yeah. So basically, this is what Zach needed. This was the little jump start that Zach needed, because not only does he continue to do good, but he knows that there will be other people there to take up for him if he should fail.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Man, if they haven't, I really wish they would go back and do more of like this, like the Forever Red and like the Morphin Black with all the other colors. Would be really cool.
I wish they would do something cool like that. Yeah. The only other story from the 2017 annual that I'm doing with tonight's episode is Sabrina's Day Out. This was one that was kind of just one of the fun side stories from the perspective of the villains. So we see a big old green demon dude, or a monster dude, facing off against a svelte young woman with black hair carrying a stuffed animal, and like a blue lion dude with gold arms carrying a bunch of stuffed animals. And we don't know who they are really. Probably. But the monster's like, hey, I recognize you guys for some reason, but I'm going to kick your ass anyway. And it all started...
I don't like you.
I don't like you.
He doesn't like you either.
Oh. So it all started 12 hours ago. Rita was like, you know what we should do? We should ruin the Power Rangers' reputations. That's the move to make. Mm-hmm. So she sends Goldar and Scorpina down to ask the locals how they feel about the Power Rangers. And they're all just like, I mean, everyone's just like, they're pretty cool. Like, let me clarify. To ask about the kids behind the mask. She's not asking about the Power Rangers themselves. She's asking about the individuals. So Billy, Kimberly, Tommy, etc., right?
Okay.
And everyone's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, Billy's cool. He's kind of a nerd, whatever. Yeah, Kimberly's great. And Skull's like, I think she smells like cookies. And then Ernie and a karate dude are talking about Tommy and like, yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got a ponytail. He does karate. And Bulk's like, yeah, he smells like cookies.
She smells delightful.
So Scorpina and Goldar, undercover, are just like, we have wasted so much time not finding anything out about these nerds. Like, they are such good people. Like, what the fuck are we gonna... We're gonna get our asses handed to us back when we get on the moon. And some cute little short-haired redhead walks up and she's like, hey, do you want a coupon for some free taffy? And Scorpina, her name is Sabrina for this, in this story. Okay. Scorpina's like, get the hell out. Did you say taffy? Word So Goldar and Scorpina are just like, you know what? We're going to get in trouble no matter what. Let's go fucking eat some taffy and have a good day. So
that's awesome.
They end up kind of going on a date at a local fair. Now, I think this is a very cute detail that they chose to do in this comic, because in the Japanese version of this series, Goldar and Scorpina are married and they have a child.
Oh, okay.
They're not called Goldar and Scorpina. They're called Lamia and Grifforzer, but this basically the same characters. So they're just out winning prizes at the fair with money I don't know where they got. Who fucking knows? But Goldar comes across a small Goldar action figure.
What the hell?
And he's just like, oh fuck yeah, bro! I want this. So he ends up smashing the shit out of the game. It's one of the swing the hammer
one. Yeah.
And just destroys it. Gets his little Goldar, and he's like, fuck yeah, this is the coolest thing I've ever gotten. And
I like sorry, I was just gonna point out, I like the little kid where he's like, whoa, cool Goldar costume.
And she's just like
not knowing that that's actually Goldar.
Yeah, and she's just like, I've seen better. While she's stuffing a chili dog down her gullet. So while they've been fucking about, Scorpina's just like, hey, wasn't Rita supposed to be like sending down a monster to keep the Power Rangers distracted? Where are they? And then we find out what happened to the Power Rangers. They were fighting off against the green dude from the beginning that can, I guess, multiply.
Oh. So
and
they don't even know about the city part.
Right. So as they're fighting off these monsters, one of them runs off to the city and comes across Goldar and Scorpina. And
the love couple.
Yeah, the adorable couple. And they're like, dude, we are so fucked if he tells Rita that we were here eating taffy and having a good time. We're gonna have to like be the good guys here. And Goldar's like, no, come on, man, come on. So they end up knocking out the monster, and they're like, hey babe, that was fun. We should be heroes again sometime. And then they both do the thing. They're like, nah, we're gonna keep being bad.
That's cool. I like that story.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I feel like it was very well written. It's very cute. It's not, overbearing on romance or anything. They're just being friends that probably want to tongue punch each other.
They probably do.
All right, the next story is from the 20th. So we move on to the 25th anniversary special.
Okay.
This one was done for the 25th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It had some stories from all over. It wasn't just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers they did. But we're not going to cover all of them because one of them is being used elsewhere. So the first one we're going to cover is actually another Scorpina story. Scorpina, being the good girl that obeys her master that she is, has offered up to a disc that's made specifically to mind control Tommy again. This is at a point where they still think that they can take back Tommy. But the problem is they need to get it close to Tommy somehow, which they decide that the best way to do that, Rita decides, is to steal Scorpina's pet like silkworm and turn it into a crusty old pug. And its license on its collar is the coin that needs to touch Tommy, right?
That's funny.
So they end up going. So Scorpina goes incognito by putting on a big old cloak to cover up her face in a public place, so that nobody in the world is going to recognize her as Scorpina when she's not wearing her armor, right?
Ah, yes. The old baseball cap and no one will know who you are.
Yeah, baseball cap, Marvel Incognito. So she shows up at an adoption event and sneaks her little disgusting crusty pug into one of the cages as Bulk and Skull show up and are like, I want this one and I am going to love him and his name is Bubba. And Rita's just like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Scorpina, I know you were just there to drop it and come back, but we need you to stick around a bit longer. Meanwhile, Bulk and Bubba are having a great time together. Bulk's giving him hot dogs and shit, and Scorpina shows up and just ruins a beautiful friendship. She's like, hey, get out of here, you dummies. And Tommy shows up, luckily, to help, and Bulk's like, they stole my little buddy.
It's so cute.
They stole my little fat buddy and stuff. So Tommy morphs and does the thing where he kicks ass, and then Scorpina's like, you wouldn't hurt the poor little dog, would you? And then she zaps him with the mind control thing, and Rita's like, yes, now make my monster grow. So the poor little crusty pug ass thing grows massive, but it doesn't grow all at once. Its eyeballs swell up first, and then its jaw juts out, and it just turns into a big old monster. It's so pathetic. And Tommy's like, okay, I know what to do here, because it's still acting like a dog. He gets the Tiger Zord, plays tug of war with the big old dog, and then cuts off the dog tag that's the giant evil coin, right? And once he does that, they reunite Bulk with Bubba, and everyone's happy, but then a little old lady in a cloak comes crawling over. Oh, you found my Charlie, my sweet little puppy boy. And Bulk, being the softy he is, like, okay, I will give you back your Charlie. And then the old lady turns back into Scorpina. It's a real, like, Snow White moment, with the evil witch.
Yeah. The dog's face, though.
Yeah, I know. The dog has the derpiest fucking face.
Oh, this one's good.
I like this one because it's got Bulk and Skull being, like, not a pain in the ass, like they always are.
I always like them like that, but the pain in the ass one is their character.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, they have to go through, like, character growth and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call it for now.
That's fine, buddy.
I'm sorry. I am getting snoozy over here.
No, you're good. I can get back to you either doing Mondays or Tuesdays. Okay. It's just this week we're really busy.
No, I feel you, dude. No worries. So yeah, we'll pick up with Golden Ideas next time we start.
Oh, I forgot. Now I'm just seeing that damn Zoid, the fucking Megazord.
Yeah.
That one's one of my favorites.
That's the Thunder Zord. Yeah. That's what we're getting with the Power Rangers after we finished up, or now that we're done with the Shattered Grid, they get their Thunder Zords now.
It was just the fact alone that they let it go where the fucking head of the dragon serpent thing is on a crotch.
That's not the lion. That's the lion.
Well, still, it's the face on a crotch.
Yeah.
It just.
Oh no, they went off, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, good night. Love you.
Love you too. The next story, it takes place during the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Lord Zed has sent down a monster. The Power Rangers defeat it. No problem. Go back to the juice bar. They're slamming back juices. And then they start talking about the old days, which 3 of the Rangers, Aisha, Adam, and Rocky, were not present for. And they're kind of feeling left out. Like, hey guys, I know y'all I know y'all got ex-Rangers, but could you quit talking about your exes in front of us, kind of thing? Which, I mean, I get it. And so Adam and Aisha are all depressed and shit, and they're like, how can we, like, prove that we belong with the Power Rangers, right? They're doing some work in the lab at Billy's house. They've got the rad bug. And while they're working, Goldar shows up, and he's just like, what's up, bitches? You're the two new guys. Nobody likes you. And so they're just like, all right, screw it. They drive off with... They drive off in the rad bug. Goldar's like, fuck you. And so they're like, I bet. And they end up... This is one of the dumbest and coolest things ever. So Zordon does his thing where he's like, make my Goldar grow. And Goldar grows. He grows. And Adam and Aisha are like, hey... Do you think we should try out that experiment that Billy's been working on? You know, the one where it makes us really big.
Huh.
Because that just happens to be something Billy has done, as making a growth potion. And so they're like, all right, they grow, and then they beat the shit out of Goldar in enormous size. All the while, the other Rangers have been watching, and they're like, yeah, they're going to be just fine. And fucking dumbass Rocky's like sitting like a 5-year-old too close to the TV, like, this viewing club is so cool, guys.
What a weirdo.
And that's it. That was Golden Ideas. 3 pages. 4 pages. 4 pages of story. This one was, I mean, I've always thought that this one was dumb. Like, I understand Aisha and Adam wanting to feel like they're a part of the team, but I feel like what they did with the story didn't do enough to, like, give them the credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
But, you know, who am I to judge? Like, I don't know what the writers were thinking when they wrote this. They were probably thinking, oh no, we have 2 days to finish this. We should probably start it. All right, the next story. This is one where you're going to need a little bit of history. Have you ever watched Power Rangers Mystic Force?
No.
Okay, so Mystic Force is it took place after SPD. So this is, or it came out after SPD. It was a group of, like, magicians, basically. It was Harry Potter Power Rangers. And
okay.
Their mentor figure was a woman named Udana. Udana could also turn into a Power Ranger. She was the white one. She was called the Mystic Mother. Her overarching story for, like, the first half of the series is her husband is lost. And she doesn't know, like, what's happened to him, and she's feels an enormous amount of guilt for it, right?
Okay.
So that's what this story is. She's having a dream. She has recurring dreams about her husband being tortured by this villain who you might recognize. He was there during Shattered Grid on Lord Draken's side, right?
Right.
So this is Korag, the Wolf Knight. Her husband is Lianbo. Now, with this recurring dream, oh, I'm sorry, she's not the Mystic Mother. The Mystic Mother is this bitch. So she shares her dream with a fortune teller named the Mystic Mother. The Mystic Mother is her mentor, right?
Okay.
The Mystic Mother is basically like, look, I can't tell you what dreams are or aren't. Like, that's not really for us to it's not for us to tell, but I'm going to do some tarot and we'll figure out what's going on. Basically what it is with a lot of the mystic symbolism that they have, the card that gets pulled is the Phoenix. The Phoenix, as I'm sure most people know in mythology, represents rebirth. But the Mystic Mother reminds her, you're not the Phoenix, Udana. Like, this isn't necessarily you. And so Udana's just like, you know what? This may not be me, but I will make sure that I find the Phoenix. And the Mystic Mother, being a good mentor, is like, okay, let me do what I can for you. And she projects Udana through time, space, this like corporeal form, the mystic afterlife, whatever you want to call it. And she finds her husband. His name is Lianbo. And Lianbo is suffering. He is like full on screaming in pain. And as she's trying to comfort him, Korag, who is holding our boy Lianbo on a chain, is basically just like, hey, this may have been your boo before, but he's mine now. Look at this. I got this bitch on a chain. And Udana's like, all right, bet. So she transforms into the White Ranger and goes to fight. But Korag's a fucking beast. Like, he just smacks her out the way. And it's rough to watch because she's literally fighting for the man she loves. And she is losing badly. And when after getting soundly beaten by Korag, she returns home to kind of like figure out what the plan for the future is. And we see her have a vision of the future with the team of 5 Mystic Force Rangers, that end up later becoming her students, disciples, pupils, whatever you want to call it. So, here's the thing with this story. Again, since you don't know this is kind of a big deal. I'm going to give you a little bit of spoiler to the series. Korag, the Wolf Knight, is in fact Lianbo.
Oh.
So he's under control of some great evil force. I don't remember who it is. I haven't watched all of it. But he ends up spending a lot of time fighting against, the Rangers as a whole. And Lianbo is actually the mind-controlled character. So when he does eventually break free of the spell, he keeps the suit, which is cool, but the suit changes to a different color. It becomes red. So imagine that purple suit, but fucking red and badass, man.
Is there a reason why it becomes red? Does he take over the team?
No, he's still
like himself.
Yeah,
as just a single ranger.
Right, he's just like an extra ranger at that point. And
okay.
One of the other things is in addition to Korag being, the wolf, her hubby, the Red Ranger is their daughter, or is their son. So it's like a lot of like family drama going on. It's really kind of funny to watch.
Okay.
So
it's actually really compelling. I like that.
I will say I wasn't a huge fan of Mystic Force when it came out because their morphers are like mobile phones that turn into wands.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Why not just have them like wands or something?
Right, that's what I was saying.
Or like books, because it's like mystical forces.
Yeah, I know. You'd think, right? But no, they were cell phones that turned into wands. So this next series is another one of the more modern series. This is from Ninja Steel. So Ninja Steel is ninjas again.
Okay.
But
that have steel.
Well, let me show you, because this is one I know nothing about Ninja Steel at all.
Oh, okay.
So we're now at the point where I'm just as much in the dark as you.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be fun.
So Ninja Steel is one of the more modern seasons, as I said. From what I do know, I think, is that the Red Ranger and the Gold Ranger are brothers. But that's about it. And at some point, Red Ranger broke his morpher into 3 parts so that there was 2 more Red Rangers. One was this dude, and the other was Red Ranger's dad, this dude. So he was originally already a Red Ranger. Then he gave his powers to his son, and then his son broke the Morpher, and now there were 2 more Red Rangers.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this guy is also he shows up a few. He's basically a really big support guy in a lot of the series. The actor is actually the same guy that played. Let me see, what was it? So he's done a lot of voice work, but did you watch Power Rangers SPD?
No.
Okay, so in Power Rangers SPD, he played a guy named Boom. Boom was a wannabe Ranger. He his dream was to become a Power Ranger. So much so that he had a dream about being a Power Ranger, and this was his costume.
Okay.
And they included him in the Power Rangers Super Legends video game as a playable character.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, the actor just ends up doing a lot of other stuff for the series throughout the series.
Okay, he's just like a repeated actor.
Yeah. Which isn't that uncommon. Right. For Power Rangers. All right. So this story takes place in Power Rangers Ninja Steel. There's been the villain of this series is Madame Odious, and she runs a series called Galaxy Warriors, which is basically just like a death match, like cage brawl. So, which I think is pretty cool for the villain to be like involved in that kind of thing. As they're discussing like the plans of like how to deal with this, they get a siren or an alert that something's going on, and Mick, who's the guy that I showed you with the big hair, is like, "Hey guys, look, it's Alpha 5." Which, why wouldn't it be Alpha 5 showing up at their door? And he's like, he's the guy that helped out the Power Rangers back in the day, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and everyone's like, "Oh, cool, the dinosaur ones. How do you guys know each other?" Which is a fair question. And we get to see Alpha in a cute little outfit with a top hat and mustache, and I wish that we got more of that kind of shit from Alpha. So the reason Alpha is here is they need help because Rita, the evil bitch that she is, 25 years in the past, opened up a wormhole to summon things from the prison dimension. And I mean, if you look at it, that thing's fucked. Like we got tentacles and shit coming out, and basically one team of Rangers isn't enough. And
it never is.
It's never enough. And the Ninja Steel Rangers are like, well, those guys are like the greats. Like, they're legends. Like, if they couldn't stop it, how are we going to do it? And then we, while Brody's having his little meltdown, like, I'm never going to be good enough. We have the other Rangers fighting from the past. And they're like, "Hey guys, this sucks. Kimberly, watch out for the tentacles. Or don't."
Or don't. Have fun.
And the Ninja Steel Rangers, despite their misgivings, they jump into the battle. They're shooting like fireballs and shit out of their hands and slicing them up with... I do miss the days when each Ranger had a different weapon versus now basically every Ranger having swords.
Yeah, it kind of like takes away that identity of each Ranger.
Yeah. And because the Blue Ranger, for whatever reason, shoots fire out of his hands, he realizes, guys, this thing doesn't like fire. So the Mighty Morphin team's like, hell yeah, we got fire, and they put together the power the power cannon, and they blast that son of a bitch. And as they're finishing everything up, they're like, okay, we got to make sure it doesn't come back. We can't just like lock the door on it. We have to kill it, basically. So the two Red Rangers jump into it, and they see fucking... I don't even know how to describe this thing. Like, the term biblically accurate angel doesn't quite do it justice. All I know is that we've got this big mass of tentacles with an eye, and it's sticking its hand through multiple wormholes. Like, I'm talking like this thing is fucking with time all across time. And so they patch in with Alpha, and they're like, hey, let's figure out how to get this taken care of together. And Ninja Steel Red Ranger's like, okay, here's the thing. You have to go back, because if you don't go back to your time, none of the rest of us happen. So he blasts him away with water, because the Red Ranger shooting water makes as much sense as the Blue Ranger shooting fire. After sending Jason back, Brody realizes, look, this isn't something that one team of Rangers is going to be able to handle. This isn't something that two Rangers teams are going to be able to handle. We need people all across time to help. So they end up just sending fire through all of the wormholes. And ends up working. They end up beating back the thing. It burns to death. It falls. And Jason arrives back in the past, and everyone's like, hey, Jason, you good, babe? Because as we know, Trini has feelings for Jason. And this looks like it's before Tommy shows up, so Trini's definitely like hot for Jason right now. And Brody arrives and he's like, hey guys, one thing to remember is we're also Power Rangers. And we're always going to be together. And everything will always work out because we're the Power Rangers. Alright, so we jump now 5 years in the future. We're in the 30th anniversary special. And as I've said before, a lot of the stories that are in the anniversary specials are being used in other places because I feel they fit better than just shooing them all here together.
Okay.
So the first story we're going to cover from that is called Ode to Ernie. Ernie, as you remember, is the guy that owns the juice bar. He runs the juice bar basically single-handedly, right? So it's just a life of his daily rush. He is always just going, fulfilling orders, right? But in addition to that, he also has to deal with the fact that, there are monsters that attack basically every day. And sometimes those monsters manage to smash into his juice bar. Which, unfortunately, I can't imagine this guy's making enough money to fix things all the time,
Yeah. Surprised he's still even running.
Yeah. So, with that, a giant electric lizard called the Electro Gecko smashes through his front door. So the Power Rangers show up to help, and the Gecko's just pissed. He's like, I'm gonna fucking electrocute your asses. But Ernie, being Ernie, is like, hey, fuckface, you broke my door. You owe me a new door. And he's like, what do you expect to do? And he's like, I'm not gonna do anything. But then Power Rangers is about to fucking shoot you in the face because I distracted you long enough.
Dude, what a cold moment.
Dude, seriously, like hardcore motherfucker. And so they do. They literally like vaporize the Gecko. And they're like, dude, that was probably one of the bravest things I've ever seen. What are you going to do? And he's like, honestly, like I was getting ready to sell the place anyway. And because they're, the kids that hang out at the juice bar all the time, like what are you talking about? This is your dream. And he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I'm broke. Like people would come here to be safe, like like it was like the YMCA. It was like the YMCA for kids, right? And okay. And he's like, but now everything's like a disaster. We like people can't come here to be safe anymore because well, first of all, you just threw a lizard through my door. But like nobody's gonna lose sleep over this place closing down. And the Rangers are like, oh no, you're wrong, Ernie. Like everyone, like this isn't just a juice bar. This is a place where friends like become friends. This is where people come to be a part of like something better. And people like you are what make it great. And Ernie's understandably like, no, like I'm just a fat guy that makes milkshakes.
Right. I'm just like some ordinary.
I'm just a civilian.
Yeah, I'm just a civilian.
And they're like, dude, you made it possible for us to kill that thing. Everything's gonna be fine. You've got this. Like some things in life are worth the risk. And I guess, and then the buyer shows up that was supposed to buy the building, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not selling after all. And old stuffy old guy in a suit. It's like, I'm gonna sue you, and he's like, fucking sue me. And then
you fucking bitch.
And then he makes a smoothie for the guys, which it comes full circle. I want to actually look something up, because if I'm not mistaken, I think the actor may have passed recently. Oh wow, no, he passed back in 2008. So yeah, this particular story was dedicated to the actor Richard Gunnell.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, he passed back in 2008. I don't know how he passed actually. Now I kind of want to dig into that. He died of a heart attack on December 30th, 2008. That's really sad. And so after 4 seasons on Power Rangers, he actually left the series so that he could overcome his smoking problems and obesity, and he lost 40 pounds. So
that's even more heartening, like disheartening. He was trying to turn his life around.
Yeah, he was. He didn't. And aside from one like tiny role in The Death Merchant, Power Rangers was all he did. He was a Power Rangers actor through and through. So I'd say that a story dedicated to him, because he did do a lot for the series, like with the Rangers and all.
I would say he's immortalized with that one.
Yeah. The last story, oh man. So
was it a doozy?
You know how the Zordon era of Power Rangers wraps up, right?
No.
So in the end
not at all.
So the end of Power Rangers in Space, Zordon and Alpha 5 are on Eltar. Eltar is Zordon's homeworld, right?
Okay.
And the Alliance of Evil is basically every villain from Mighty Morphin up through Power Rangers in Space has teamed up to destroy Zordon effectively. And Jeez. The series ends with Andros, the Red Space Ranger, destroying Zordon's containment chamber. Killing him. But he ends up, his death releases a wave of pure energy that ends up either destroying villains or purifying them and making them good.
Wait, this all happens in Rangers in Space?
Yep.
Shit, I need that shit.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were watching it. I didn't mean to spoil that ending.
No, I'm not currently watching it, but like I said previously, the only Rangers I've known that I've watched is, of course, like the movie, the very first one.
Yeah.
Some of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then I think there was a Rangers in Space movie.
Power Rangers Turbo had a movie.
Okay, so I watched that one, and then I started watching Rangers in Space.
Gotcha. Okay.
Up until when I knew the Psycho Rangers were a thing, and that was it.
Okay. So, this is Alpha's story. Alpha wakes up, or is created, about 20 years after, or is created around the time Rita gets locked up, right?
Okay.
So, he's created on the planet Edenoi. Edenoi is in the series Masked Rider, which was like a spinoff of Power Rangers. It was based off of another series from Japan called Kamen Rider.
Oh, I think I've seen Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider is another one that's been around forever. So this is the original Kamen Rider. Masked Rider was based off of Kamen Rider Black. Black RX to be specific. So, Masked Rider was targeted more towards kids. So, the Masked Rider in this one was a teenager who got help from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And that was supposed to kickstart his series. Edenoi is the homeworld of the Masked Rider.
That's cool.
Okay. So, Alpha was built on Edenoi. And this is kind of his story of his life with Zordon. He's told that your job as an Alpha is to be like your directive, your prime directive, which is the story. It's the Alpha directive, is to be like, pick your own purpose, choose what it is that you want to do. And so he's teamed up with Zordon. Zordon has had an Alpha in the past. We're actually very close to that story in the comics, so we'll go over that one soon. But
okay.
Alpha's job is to help Zordon. His job is to help Zordon. He's tasked with finding his own purpose in life. So he's helping Zordon, and basically they're keeping an eye on people that could possibly be the next generation of Power Rangers. And as we watch through time, he's spending, we're jumping a few decades here and there. So, he's from the time between Edenoi and when he's taken over by Zordon's 50 years, which is 9,930 years before Rita escapes the dumpster. The moon dumpster. Yeah, at 9,000 years, that's when they start keeping an eye on potential new Ranger teams. And then we jump forward to 2 years after. We have this second group of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that are all working together with Zordon and Alpha, and we get to see that there's this new team that he's working to take care of. And then, Zordon's kind of like, Alpha, you don't have to just work for the Rangers. You can spend time with the Rangers too. And he's like, it's okay. I don't look at this like a job. This is I enjoy this. Fast forward another couple of years, and Alpha is activating Alpha 5. Alpha 5 is the Alpha that works with the Power Rangers in space. He's a little bit more. He's a little different. He's a lot more like slangy when he's talking.
Okay.
So Alpha uses I. Alpha 6 goes yo yo yo. It's crazy. And Alpha 6 is even like, hey, you didn't give me a directive. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And Alpha says, that's because I'm not going to give you it. Like, it's up to you to figure out what your directive is in life. And then they hug, and
wow.
It's cute. And then we get to 5 years after Rita's escape. We are now in the era of when everything is going wrong. This is when the Alliance of Evil shows. No, this is when the Alliance of Evil shows up on Eltar. And Zordon and Alpha are saying, basically having their last conversation that they'll ever have. Zordon's like, you don't have to be here, but I appreciate you being here. And Alpha's like, I figured out what my prime directive was a long time ago, and that was to be your companion, to make sure that Zordon never had to be alone. And as he's saying these are the moments right before Zordon dies. And the 30th anniversary special had some real like damn moments, because like we got to see Ernie and like an honor to the role he played, but we also get to see like basically the end of Zordon, and we got to see the beginning of Alpha up to his ending with Zordon.
Jesus, dude! Like these writers and how like compelling Power Rangers is to give these two characters, especially like an AI program,
right,
such a deep story.
Right. And honestly, like, and this art style that they did for this particular story is one of my favorite ones. I think we had some of this artwork done for
I think Mighty
Morphin. I think like Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers had some. I'll have to look into this a bit more, but just beautiful artwork. It's very well done. It doesn't.
It's not overly saturated too.
Yeah, it's not over. Like the colors are more dark. Like they're more dark in color, but like it works well for the story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have come to the end of this edition of Lost Chronicles. If we continue to get more like extra stories like this in future issues, like we'll cover them at that point. But we'll be returning to the ongoing story probably next time we do one of these. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we have.
Yeah, this show was fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Especially like me learning more of the Power Rangers lore.
Well, I'm always happy to teach. I've got that Power Rangers autism.
So what you're saying is this issue that we ended on, this is what we see in the Rangers in Space?
Basically, yeah. The way the story ends is how Rangers in Space ends.
Wow. So is that it? There's like no more Alpha when the other seasons go on?
Not really. I think there's like an Alpha 5000 or something like that. Let's see. Alpha series. So there is Alpha 5, Alpha 6.
Which was Mighty. Okay.
Yeah, Alpha 6, which was space. Halfway through Turbo, up through Lost Galaxy, and then into Operation, and also in Operation Overdrive. Alpha 7 showed up to help in Forever Red. Alpha 8 helped Billy in Once and Always. 9 helps the Power Rangers in Once and Always. And then 55 helps the Hyperforce Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't even know they're all like. Can we also appreciate Alpha 5 was around for like 10,000 years, and then we got 6, 7, and 8 within about a span of like 30 years. Power Rangers are too rough with their Alpha robots.
I'm telling you, man.
Also, this is, as I mentioned, the first Alpha.
What a G.
So you're gonna, dude, you have no idea what you're in for with this guy.
Okay.
Fucking baller.
What is he, like an Alfred to Batman?
So the early models of Alpha were built for combat. So he was originally supposed to be a combat unit.
Oh, that's sick.
So yeah, but we'll get into that at a later point.